Cobra Kyle. Hey, y'all wondering how Mookie is doing? Mookie doesn't exist anymore, right? Mookie's name is Ben, and Mookie is busy being Ben and raising his son. Seems like he abandoned his public Instagram. He did, and Facebook during all the bullshit he was being put through. Not trying to get in his business, just wanted to know if him and his son are cool. They're very good. They're doing well. I talked to Ben. I don't know. He texted a couple of weeks ago. I reached out to Ben over some stuff. Ben hit me back immediately. Thanks for your time and all you do. And that's it. Ben's good, man.
And his son is just as tall as he is.
Yeah, Ben, our friend Moose sent some photos of him on the beach over Christmas with Ben and Griffin and his son. And they're doing fine, man. They're doing fine. Ben is just not who you knew him as, right? Ben had that persona, and that was his public-facing rock star deal, right? Ben was an MMA fighter. Ben was a Abercrombie Fitch model. Ben was a SEAL. Ben was a contractor, and now Ben is a father.
I mean, if you Google anything to do with contracting or Blackwater or anything, his picture is the first one you see, and like that creates a persona, you know?
Yeah.
Subtract the fact that he was an actual model. You could find those pictures out there.
Well, and I mean, he spent a lot of time cultivating that persona. Yeah. I mean, decades.
It gets easier especially when you have people around you, right? Mm-hmm. When you got people around, you're like, yeah, right on, you can do this, yeah, and there's not a repercussion for it. Mm-hmm. So it just continues to grow and grow. It's that rock star lifestyle. It's that movie star lifestyle. And early on in social media, it was like that was all Ben. Like that all happened, right? Mm-hmm. I knew when Ben showed up at my house, some shit was going to happen always. When Ben was at the team room, some shit was always going to happen. Not bad for me, but usually bad for somebody. And that was what you guys know of Ben, guys. That was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, right? We're all 50 now.
Well, I'm not, but yeah.
Ben is good, man. Mookie is just not there. Now, it's break glass in case of war, right? If some shit went down, I would definitely want Ben there.
Yeah.
I would definitely want Ben there. Nightlife Kennel. I saw in your most recent Off the Compound video about Rad Sushi, you seem to have an SOE watch band on your watch. Is that something you will be making and selling? Would love to have a few. So, yeah, I guess we should go ahead and do that. If you want something, here's the deal. I don't know how to change. I don't know millimeters. All the watches are in millimeters, and my ruler is in inches. Now I have
Google will translate that for you.
That I know. But then I have to talk to people. So, yes, what that is we made Cobra keychains, and Pablo had taken one and just wrapped it around through the key ring and put it around his wrist, and he put it on, and it was in a video. People saw it. Everybody asked about it. They're like, oh my God, are you making bracelets? I want one of those with a Cobra buckle on them. I'm like, well, the truth is it's just a Cobra keychain, and because it has 3 inches of Velcro, you get about an inch of adjustment out of that thing, and you can put it on your wrist. Well, I took that same deal and just made a strap and slid a Lumtech watch on it. Works very well. Works really, really well. And it's really made the same way my dog collars are. We made watch bands for years for all the battalion recon guys and the SEALs for Citizen Aqualand watches. But the Velcro would wear out always, right? So this has a Cobra buckle in it, and the Velcro can still wear out, but you're only going to adjust it with the Velcro once, and then the Cobra buckle is going to click, and that's going to be the on-off. All of our I shouldn't even say this because guys will fix their bullshit. If you look at most of the dog collars on the market, the Velcro's on the outside, and the dogs are running around, and the Velcro's always ratty and shit. It's because they're too stupid to put the Velcro on the inside. You're not using the Velcro to take the thing on and off. It's only to adjust it one time. Then you're going to use the buckle to clip it. So just like our dog collars, like our 175 dog collars, that's how this is. And that's what you saw. They are very cool. We make the webbing, It's very time consuming. Yes, I will build you one. Send me an email. Tell me what you want. And then tell me what your lug spacing is. And the way this is going to work is your pins are going to be there. And you're going to route this under one pin, under the disc of the watch on the back, and out the other pin.
If anybody knows anything about watches, it would be a NATO strap.
It's not a NATO strap.
Well, you loose it, or you.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Attach it in there.
Yeah, like that kind of. The NATO strap slides through, and then goes through that other piece of hardware.
Yeah.
Mine doesn't have that. Your pins are there, and then it's going to cover the pins through. It's going to come through the buckle, and it's going to Velcro back, thus covering those pins also.
And the idea is, if you break a spring pin, the other one is still attached.
And it will, yes, correct.
So,
yep.
Like it's a good idea to have a band like that if you're doing like some physical shit with it.
Yeah.
Because if you break one of it, it's still there. You don't.
And there's watches out there, and I don't know why. I guess it's because of machining, but there's watches out there that they screw in, right? They're not even spring pins, and there's different calibers of spring pins too.
Yeah.
When you go buy spring pins from Walmart and they're $1 a piece, and then you see spring pins that are $10, well, there's a fucking reason why.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd buy the $10
That's
ones.
the only thing that's holding your watch onto your wrist, you know. So.
And if guys don't know, we're a dealer for LoomTech. If you want a rugged outdoor watch, and they make
that looks great,
and they make they make watches that look dressy too. If you've not seen LoomTech, check them out. We're a dealer for LoomTech. We quote everybody. I don't have any LoomTechs on my website. You don't see any mention of it on the website. But if you hit me up, I will give you a price lower than suggested retail price and lower than anything on the internet. And when you tell me what you want, I quote your price, you tell me you want it, we're going to send you a clickable, payable invoice the same day. And you're going to have your watch from LoomTech within 2 to 3 days. Yeah. It's going to be at your door, and they're awesome. They're great watches. I really like LoomTech. I've got a bunch of them myself, and check it out if you're thinking you want to watch and you're in the. I guess they have watches around $300-400. Yeah. But they're under $1,000. Like they have some automatics, some bronzes and stuff that are really cool, low volume. They only make 1,000 pieces or a few hundred pieces. But check it out. They make basically like combat watches and officers' watches, and they're called LoomTech because they loom. When you loom those fucking things, they are bright. Very cool. And they have them where they'll loom different colors up, and just check them out. If you think you want a nice watch that's functional out in the woods, functional every day, but you can still wear it out. I mean, I wear them out pretty frequently.
That's the thing. Like, when you start getting into nicer watches, then you can't do any, like, you have to worry about doing shit because you have a nice watch. This is a nice watch that you can do stuff. You can work out in it.
Yeah.
You can go into the woods in it, that kind of stuff.
And if orange is your jam, man, they make stuff that looms up orange and has orange on it. Red's your thing, they got that. Blue. I mean, they have a ton of shit. It's pretty cool. We gave all of my guys, we gave them for Christmas a few years ago. Just check them out if you want to watch. I can do that for you. We can do it through us. Josh Gilman, what are some life skills I should teach my boys? I have a list already, but I want your suggestions. So this was the first comment I saw when these questions went live. I get a notification on my phone, and I've actually been thinking about this for a few days, and I actually spoke about this in a video the other day that we made. And there's a lot of life skills that you should teach your kid, and I think you know what they are, but I think something that we should teach all kids, boys, girls, is that to use different words, right? We are changing the vocabulary of our language. Just because you're hurt, just because it hurts, doesn't mean you are hurt, right? And the way we should say that is just because you're hurt, it doesn't mean you're injured. Teach your kids that when they fall down, it's okay. They have to get back up on their own. Don't pick them up. Just because they fall down and they're bloodied and they're bleeding a little, that doesn't mean the task is completed. If we take them and coddle them, you are creating, that is their threshold. They're never going to achieve beyond that. They're always going to expect you to pick them up. And ask yourself too, do we pick them up because we're worried about them and we want to help them, or do we pick them up because we don't want to hear them cry, and that's the fastest way to end that? How many times do you walk into a restaurant right now and there's not screaming kids because they have a device?
Oh, yeah.
while there are screaming kids because they don't have a device, but that's because the parents allow them to scream. Build your children into what you want your children to be. Build your children into what nobody built you into, right? What do you wish you had? I wish I was forced to be able to play the piano. I've said that a lot in the last month. We had a piano here. Josh had a piano at his house when he moved in, and I brought it here, and we put it in the garage, and I fucked around with the piano every night. And I never put enough time into it. The piano wasn't tuned. I have 100 excuses why I still can't play the piano. But I think kids should learn that, right? We should teach our kids other languages. We should teach our kids how to play a musical instrument because that just gives them the ability to learn. Even if they never take off and do that, they have the capability to know how to learn that. But I think the biggest thing is teach your kids that just because you hurt, that doesn't mean you stop. Let them have that, right? We used to ride bicycles and we were jumping over trash cans. Like we'd line up 5 55-gallon trash cans and we would jump a fucking 1x12 ramp. And half the time you would jump this ramp, the ramp would slide out before you were over and you'd eat shit, right? We never went home crying. In fact, we tried to hide it, right? We'd go home hurt or scraped up and we wouldn't show mom. Those days are over with, right? Because the threshold is just lower. Masculinity is gone. And masculinity, we want to use that as a bad word. I don't care if your daughters have masculinity. When I say that, I mean that in toughness, mental toughness, physical toughness. We coddle them, right? Perseverance. There is none of that anymore. And if you're sending them to public school, government school, it's even less because they do not want you self-reliant on yourself. They need you to rely on them. So that I could go off on I could keep going on for hours on this, but that's the biggest one, right? Make your kids tough. Let them fucking hurt. Let them have fucking hard times. And let them fucking understand the rewards for it on their own, right? We've taken this away. Kids aren't allowed to lose anymore. When they lose, we still reward them for it, and all that does is take away from the winner because we're trying to close that gap because we don't want that leader. We don't want those people to think for themselves and lead for themselves. We want to kill all of that so that you have to rely on the government. So that's what I would, the main thing is just because it hurts, it doesn't mean you're injured.
I was going to say, teach him that hard work is what brings the biggest rewards.
Yes.
And that there is no easy way out. So don't look for the easy way out, right? Just deal with the suck, get through it, and get your reward at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, again, that's by design. That's back to everybody gets a trophy. And all that does is take away from the kid that worked harder or the kids that worked harder. And maybe they didn't. I mean, maybe there is some kid out there that's working really hard and he's just not good on the team. Well, he probably shouldn't fucking be on the team. He should probably find something else. Maybe that's the kid that's going to be the classical violinist, right? Maybe he's going to be the classical pianist. You know who those guys usually are also? Surgeons. They're the guys doing the minute shit. Except surgeons now, they don't work inside your fucking head anymore. It's a robot that does it. Like they have AI that does it. But somewhere, someplace, there is still a place for those people, right? They usually have some greatness. And you don't know what course you're setting. But when you allow him to quit, or you don't even make him continue, more importantly, you killed any chance of that.
I wasn't going to say anything here because I'm new to this and I wanted to hear what you guys had to say, but I want to say something about what you just said.
Louder.
So we're talking about my oldest has a guitar and like she drums and all that stuff, and that's because I want to, if she shows interest in something, I want to encourage it in a way that she doesn't have any excuses. I always wanted to play instruments. Before I started doing videos, I was managing and recording bands. Music has been a part of my life forever. And I never had instruments of my own. And what would have happened if I did? You know, that kind of stuff. So anytime that they feel like that you think that they're showing an interest in something, let them have a shot at it. If they lose interest, then move on. But, you know, you might be raising somebody that's going to do something great if they just have the right resources for it.
And even if they don't do anything great, it's important to have the follow through. Yeah. Look, I'm going to buy you want drums? You have to play them every day for 6 months. Even if they hate it, because if you make them do it for 6 months, They're going to think twice before they take on that next thing.
Yeah.
I want a puppy.
Maybe I don't want a flute.
I want a puppy. Okay, well, you're going to have a puppy for fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
You don't get to just leave that thing in the backyard, right? You have to walk it every day.
We have this discussion. The oldest has been playing baseball for 4 years now, and we have this discussion every beginning of the season because when she signs up, that's the commitment for the entire season. I don't care if you don't want to play, but once you commit to it, you will be playing for the entire season because you're not only going to let yourself down, but you're letting your team down if you don't show up.
That's what I was
More importantly, that's a commitment for the entire family.
Yeah.
That's a commitment for the entire family.
So far it's been good, but just, like make sure that they stick with something long enough to know if they want to do it again and give them the resources that you can. Like, not everybody can buy a drum set. Not everybody like, we talked about this last week. Annie hates them because they're very, very loud and nobody, like, until you're good, you're bad. So it sounds terrible, that kind of stuff. So maybe you can't do that, but figure out a way to let their interests flourish and see what happens.
Maybe you need some soundproofing in your office.
Yeah, I'm sure
just to make it just to make it easier for Annie to deal with.
Well,
you know what I mean?
What I actually have is a bunch of combat cocks around the drums because anything that's uneven will break up that sound wave and make it a little bit smaller. So I'm trying to like build out. They're in a corner, and I'm trying to build it out to where there are combat cocks everywhere around it.
Man, you can put electronic heads on those things. They just sit right on top.
Yeah,
and then she just hears them through the headphones. Yeah, Brandles, they do all of their shit. They play live. They practice live.
Quietly.
But they have electronics to where nobody hears any of that shit. They only hear it through their headphones.
Yeah.
Doug, do you guys store any supplements or vitamins like powdered greens? Also, if TRT became unavailable to you, do you have a PCT lined up? Also, or asking as I am super interested in TRT, but fear if shit went south, TRT would not be available. And
That's an excuse.
I feel that's not the time I'd want to crash my test. Any info would be out. That's bullshit.
That's an excuse.
Yeah, that's some bullshit. I ran anabolics. Like, I did anabolics off and on shit all my life. Well, maybe when I was like 21. I was 160 pounds when I was 21.
Now you know where Cody gets it from.
I was 130 pounds when I was 21. And I ran Sustanon 250 Decadurabolin for months and months. But at the same time, started going to the gym, and then along with that, started eating lots of tuna and boiled chicken and whey protein. I mean, all the nasty, bland shit. I would literally boil chicken. It was so fucking dry, and I would force myself to eat that shit.
Now I know why you don't eat chicken anymore.
And I went up to 160 pounds, and then didn't work out for a little while. Was working out still, came back on a few different injectables, and went 180. And then at one point I was sitting at 215. I was ridiculously big at 215. I'm about 185 right now, probably dressed, running just testosterone propionate. I'm on an Anthate or Cypionate right now.
It's the Prop-Sip blend.
Propionate, Cypionate blend. But during COVID, when really, we were doing videos before COVID, but we were doing a lot of videos during COVID. For 2 years, I didn't get my labs tested. I wasn't taking anything, nothing, and still got a ton of shit done. So imagine what I would have done, how much faster I would have done things during COVID had I been on TRT. Now, I went probably 3 years with no TRT.
Yeah, probably.
And then went and got tested and went and got on TRT. The not having it thing is bullshit. I sit very, very low off TRT. Like, my levels are lower than probably all of you dudes who have low levels. Like, absolutely insanely low. And I still get a lot of shit done. So that's horse shit. Use it because it's going to improve you. It's going to improve your sleep. You're going to do everything with more energy. You're going to have more strength if you utilize it right. You have the magic button right now. Number one, you have youth. But you're only getting older. You're not getting younger. So you have youth. And if you have that extra, and you utilize it, even if it's just body weight shit, push-ups, pull-ups, just squats, just body weight stuff. However you want to work out, big five, right? If you're only going to do big five compound movements, do that. If you're going to do bodybuilding type stuff, do that. Whatever it is going to amplify you and your muscle. You ever hear muscle memory, right? You're going to have people that were big can get big again. It's going to be like that. I'm telling you, you do whatever you want to do, because what you do doesn't affect me, but you just asked me, and that's some horse shit. That's some bullshit you tell you. You keep telling you that. Yeah, you should get your labs work. Maybe you don't need it. I don't know what your situation is, but it's not just about TRT. It's about optimization of human being. And when you go to your doctor, he runs a couple tests and tells you, okay, you're at this level, we can give you test pellets or test injections. It's not about that. They should be running all your lipids, all your cholesterols. They should be looking, fucking everything, all your vitamins. Hey, you're low on D. Hey, you need this, you need that. This will amplify this. This will antagonize that. Like, you need a dude that's going to look at all of your shit and optimize your human being, right? Your health. And when you do that, like once you've been on for 6 weeks or whatever, the doctor, you'll have a conversation like, how do you feel? You're like, man, I feel really good. I feel like Superman. No, that's how you should feel. That's your base minimum right there. Now we will tweak it over the next, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, whatever. You need to have those conversations. I have a doctor that will do that. I don't get any fucking money from this. I don't get fucking anything from telling you about these guys. But it has changed my life and everybody around me who has gone to talk to these guys and gone to see them. And there's been dudes that have been in there and they're like, yeah, they said my levels are good. I don't need testosterone. They put me on this other stuff. They gave me this other thing. And a lot of times it's shit you can just get over the counter, right? We're so fast to take supplements, but we don't know why we're taking them. And sometimes you actually have an allergy to them, or it's detrimental and you're taking shit that's countering something else that you need in your body and you can't utilize it. So get with a company, get with some guys that are real fucking doctors that deal with this shit, and then have those conversations. And if you need that, I can put you with my guy.
Typically, your general practitioner doctor is not going to know what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to optimizing your hormones. Typically, not all the time. We had a doctor before his clinic burnt down. He knew his shit, but most general practitioner doctors are not there to optimize your sex hormones. They are there to prescribe you high blood pressure pills and fucking cholesterol pills.
And it shouldn't even be your sex hormones.
The
sex hormones are in there, but it's your energy. It's your energy hormones.
Well, they can't test your energy. They test your hormones.
But that's it's all in that ball, right? But it has to do with your energy. And even the doctors, Dr. Barry was our doctor for 14 years. I still last month I sent him some, hey, have you heard of these things? Are these on your radar? You might want to check these out. And he's like, yeah, I have heard of them. I will definitely check these out a little more with the videos you sent. Are you using these things? That's what yes, I am. Yes, you should check these out.
Okay, now I know. I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Now I understand what you're talking about.
Vince, and everybody hears growth hormone, right? Growth hormone and steroids. You can't just take growth hormone and get big. You can't even take growth hormone and get big. You have to take massive amounts of growth hormone. But there are other things. You need to look at growth hormone as recovery and repair and life extension. And there's some negative side effects to taking growth hormone if you're predisposed to certain things. There are other things that will cause your body to secrete and release your own growth hormone that are much safer. You don't have the issues that actual HGH has.
They also don't shut down your own production.
Correct.
Like exogenous
And
does.
if nothing else, growth hormone, you create growth hormone while you sleep. And there's stuff you take 2 hours before you go to bed. You can't have any carbs. I mean 0 carbs, because if you do, it'll work backwards. But you'll sleep. Like, you will literally, how many of you guys get up in the middle of the night and have to piss, right?
Oh, yeah.
You won't with this. You'll sleep right the fuck through it. You won't even move. You'll wake up, your hand will be asleep because you never fucking turned over, or you will fall asleep and stay asleep. And that's what a lot of it's about. How many guys go to sleep and they wake up and they don't feel good when they wake up? You should fucking feel good. You should feel rested. Like that should be part of it. You should be having conversations. And the same guys that are doing your testosterone hormone, your therapy stuff, they should be looking at all of that. You should be looking at red light therapy. You should be looking at oxygen therapy. It costs money. It does. But like the clinic we go to, we get all that shit's added in there. There's sauna, there's a cryo chamber, and I don't mean like a fucking ice bath. I mean a fucking cryo chamber that's got tubes and pipes and circuit boards and all kinds of shit in a room behind it. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. And then red light therapy, they just bought 3 cryo chambers. I have access to all that shit. It's hyperbaric chamber. Yeah, what did I call it?
Cryotherapy.
It's all part of it. And they have clinics all across the United States, these guys do. And it doesn't have to be the one we use. There's tons of these places.
Yeah.
And don't go, your doctor's not going to fucking optimize you. And most of these testosterone replacement places are not either. They get a nurse, and that allows them to do it's like a check cashing place now. There's a fucking TRT clinic. Literally every place there's a fucking check cashing place. And you need the right place. Just because you put the other oil in your car, it doesn't mean your car is going to fucking work any better, right? It has to have other shit with it.
You need a provider who actually gives a shit about how you feel when you're running their program, not just that money keeps coming into their account.
Yep.
You need to be able to see them, have your blood drawn, go over your labs, talk about solutions, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of those TRT clinics aren't going to do that.
No.
You know what really got me with the place that we all go to is after my first labs, they sat me down and, everything that you need costs a lot of money. So they were like, this is, after looking at your labs, this is what we think you need. Now, these things you can buy over the counter. You can buy them from us. It's very expensive, but you can buy them over the counter.
Right, exactly.
This stuff, it needs to be a prescription, so you can get it from us. Or if you think that your insurance will cover it, take this lab work to your doctor and tell them that you need that.
And it's a trip because a lot of times your doctor wants to fight with you about it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'd rather just get it because I don't want to.
And they can't tell you why.
Exactly.
It's literally just because it's because they don't make any money by doing it.
Well, that's what hooked me. I was like, okay, these people actually want to help people. Like, yeah, they're making money off of it, but they would rather you be better than them making the money off of the prescription.
Exactly.
Yeah. These guys are doctors.
Yeah.
Like the guys they're fucking real doctors. Like, and some of them are surgeons that are in these clinics, right? Mm-hmm. They own a fucking spinal repair clinic. They own a neurosurgical clinic. Like, these guys are real fucking doctors. Mm-hmm. So
I did want to say, so getting off of it, something happened where, like, I didn't get my prescription in time. I didn't go get it. Like, I had to go see them. And then once I finally did it, shipping was all fucked up. So I went with nothing for, 3 weeks. And I was tired.
Right, exactly.
It wasn't that big of a deal. I was tired.
Well, and the thing of it is like, if we're looking at the end of the world like this guy's talking about, the last thing you're going to be worrying about is fucking drawing some syringes to shoot yourself with so that your fucking testosterone is still high. You're going to be focused on, where do I get my next meal? How do I protect my family? Do I have clean drinking water? Do I have to deal with the neighbor next door because he's trying to hurt my family? You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be thinking, oh, I need to go shoot my testosterone.
Yeah. And when those times come, you're not eating processed food anymore. The junk that you just can readily go get, like...
Yeah, and you'll be outside a lot, too.
You're going to be getting vitamin D. You're going to be working in the sun. Like, things are going to change. So a lot of people that are taking testosterone to get their levels back. But why are their levels down? Because they eat shit. Like, they're not even eating real food. If you're eating anything that gets handed you, even if you're eating in a restaurant that they hand people food through a window to their car, right? If they have a drive-through, there's not a fucking thing in there you should be eating. It's not real food. Even if they have convinced you that it is not real fucking food. So it's not that's just some bullshit.
You know what's funny too is my girls were telling me that you were telling them chicken nuggets aren't real chicken.
Yep.
And I it's always been in the back of my head, like McDonald's and stuff are definitely not that.
But go look at it. It doesn't even say chicken McNuggets anymore.
So I went to Sonic to get them some chicken strips. They don't call them chicken strips. They call them crispy tenders.
Yes.
And I'm assuming it's because you can't call something
Probably.
chicken
Because it's yoga mat.
Yeah,
Not only that,
I never noticed it until after you said something.
They're all fried in rapeseed oil. Mm-hmm. That's canola.
Yeah.
That's the number one ingredient in yoga mats.
Well, and the bread from Subway and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not considered food.
It's not bread.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Health Ranger?
No.
Of course you haven't, because they fucking took all his shit off of YouTube. He's on Rumble. Check him out.
Okay, I will.
Let's take a break. I gotta go to the bathroom. We're way past eating. I need to eat so that my meals aren't fucking staggered by a couple hours here. And we will be right back. Put in some funky music like you did last time. I like that. All right, Vince Vega. Hey, John and Amanda, looking at the Harvest Right freeze dryer, what other fun stuff have you run through it? I've seen the Skittles and the cheese. Have you tried any other candies or even ice cream? Maintenance-wise, since you run yours often, what's the maintenance like on that? So we do also freeze-dried gummy bears. And yes, we have done ice cream sandwiches. I meant to bring a package out here. I saw this comment a couple days ago. We did. Did we get mini, or did we cut them in pieces?
I got the mini ice cream sandwiches and made sure they were really, really frozen before I put them on the tray and put them in the machine. Made sure
you got to get closer to this.
Made sure that the machine was pre-frozen so that they don't blow up.
We actually sent them out as International Ice Cream Day. We sent out freeze-dried ice cream sandwiches to people with that order code. And I have in the storage, one of the storage rooms, we have flat packs that are vacuum sealed. And I think there's 12 of those little mini ones in each package. It works super well. The gummy bears, super easy to do because, especially since we already bring in so many gummy bears, we have them. So those were the first things we did, and they blow up and they're cool. And it kind of aerates them. So like if you eat gummy bears, you know what they taste like, but these are aerated. It's almost like slurping your wine or your coffee. It aerates it, and it makes the flavor way bolder, more vibrant. And that's kind of how those are. There's so much stuff you can do with them. We're not really a freeze-dried candy snack company, so we just kind of do them as an add-on. And people, we do move a lot of them. We move a lot of volume of those. We probably should do some other things, but we never have these things just sitting around. So the freeze dryer is running all the time, and it's always making things that we're already building. So we just haven't tried other stuff. We haven't needed to.
One of these days I'm going to do Jolly Ranchers because I've bought all the Jolly Ranchers. I literally just have to cut them and put them on the trays.
Why do we got to cut them? Just do them.
Because they get too big.
How big?
Bigger than the gummy bears.
Could we just...
They don't fit in between the trays. That's the issue. It touches the top of the bottom
really?
tray. Yes.
Oh. Well, and we bought special cutters for them. Maybe you've seen them at Home Depot or Lowe's in the PVC section.
Yes.
The PVC pipe cutters, that's what we use to cut those Jolly Ranchers with.
As far as the maintenance goes, you're supposed to do a dry... So we have the oilless pump. And after every 5 or 10 loads, you're supposed to do a dry purge, I guess it's called. Basically, you unplug the pump from the machine and you turn the pump on and you let it just pump for 30 minutes, and that is the only maintenance that I know of. They never said, hey, you have this maintenance. That's kind of the draw for the oilless pump because you don't have to deal with the oil or the maintenance.
It's still less. And even doing the oil thing, guys, it's not that big of a deal. The oil thing looks like a big deal, but if you look at Jason Rappaport's stuff or any of them, you just run them through a damn Brita water filter. You just run them through a filter pitcher, filter your oil.
Yeah, it
gets the particulate out, and I think it removes the water also. And then you just put it back in. I mean, it's just something you have to do. I will say that I've never seen her do a 30-minute purge on any of those. Have you?
I don't do them very often.
Have you ever done them?
Yes, I have.
Every 10 loads?
I haven't done one. It's been probably 6 months since I did one.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's fine.
Cool. You should totally buy one, Vince. If you do, we have a code, an affiliate code on our website. You can see it on the website. You can see it in the Amazon notes.
It's on every email I send out.
Use our code, and it just gives us a little piece of that sale. I don't think does it give them?
It doesn't give them anything, but right now, Harvest Right is giving a premium pump out with every unit.
And the premium pump is not the oilless pump, but it's still way less maintenance. Like if I was buying one right now, I'd buy premium pumps.
Yeah, so the premium pump, I think you change the oil every 20 or 30 loads, whereas the regular pump, it's every load. In my understanding is they're quieter, they work just as well as the oilless, and they're free instead of an extra $1,500.
And then there is also something, if you retired at 40, if you get on any of his groups, he's got some Facebook groups and videos. He's really probably the best freeze drying guy out there for content. And I saw him mention a couple of times that the Harvest Right oilless pump, Harvest Right doesn't make those. They buy them from a pump company, and you can buy the exact same thing apparently on eBay for like $350 instead of $1,500. Now, I don't know that to be fact, but I seem to recall that. I'm sure you could find that information easily. And it's just like light bars, right? You can buy a rigid LED light bar for $1,200. You can buy a Baja Designs for $2,000. Also, off Amazon, and I'm talking 42, 43-inch light bars, 52-inch light bars. You can also buy no-name imports for a couple $100. On our real trucks and stuff, we have real light bars, but on most of the equipment around here, because we're not going to leave here and be in the middle of nowhere when it really matters, right? So are you better off buying the $1,000 light bar that's going to last forever, and that's what all the pro race teams and shit use? Or would you be better off spending $1,000 and getting 8 light bars and putting them on all of your equipment, right? It just depends on how important that is and when there's a problem, right? So do you buy the $1,500 pump, or do you buy 2 of these $350 pumps and have one in reserve, and if one fails, you've got a backup and you've still saved half the money? I guess it just depends on how much money you have. But the information's there, so look into that. Jeremy will and Vince, man, you can make money with these things. Freeze dry stuff. I seem to think you're in the Navy. I mean, freeze dry that shit and take it to your unit, and just sell those fucking bags. I mean, if you're gonna run them anyways and you're making them, just you can make money on these things at any place you have an event where there are people. If you're willing to go there on the weekend and stand there as a vendor, gun shows. I think you still have gun shows at Del Mar Fairgrounds. I don't know. You will sell more money. You'll have more people buy frozen gummy bears than fucking guys selling guns at the gun show.
And you can do fruit. So that's one thing that a lot of candy makers, like, they're just stuck on this candy. But what you don't realize is, like, freeze-dried pineapple is seriously like crack.
Oh, their breadsticks are like crack.
I love when people say like crack who've obviously never done crack.
You eat one and you're like, oh, that's really good. I'm going to have another piece. And before you know it, you've eaten an 8-ounce bag of it and you're like, that was probably a bad idea. But by freeze drying it, it seems like it almost makes everything sweeter. It just like really enhances a lot of the flavor.
Back to what I just said when she rolled her eyes.
What?
It's like slurping it. It aerates it.
I didn't roll my eyes about that.
So Brandel, who only eats gas station food,
like corn dogs,
like it has to be multi-days old too,
30-day-old fried chicken,
lives off that shit. But he eats like this freeze-dried, there's a bag of freeze-dried cheese. He's like, oh my God, this is so good. This is so good. This is so good. This is so good. So you'd make more money, man. And every weekend there's 100 things going on in San Diego where you have a captive audience that will buy freeze-dried stuff.
Yeah. Anytime you have a street fair, a craft fair,
I mean
church.
I think it gets their attention too, because it's something that you can't just go out and buy. Like, you can't go buy freeze-dried gummy bears, but
right.
Yeah, and you can hand them out, man. You can just have a fucking bowl. Here's two. Here's two. Oh, your dog. Here's some freeze-dried liver. Here's some freeze-dried chicken.
Yep.
Sell that shit, man. Make that money. You can definitely do that.
When I worked at gun shows, I always had free water bottles because people would come over to get a free water bottle and then buy whatever I had for sale.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and you could even sell water bottles. Like, you don't need...
Well, it wasn't like, because it was the I think it's called Gun Show of the West. It was like the big.
It's
one.
Crossroads of the
Yeah,
West.
yeah, okay.
That's all your California, Arizona, Nevada gun shows. We did one every
I
weekend.
wasn't sure if if they allowed me to sell concessions because they sold concessions.
Allowed versus able. You do it until you can't.
Yeah.
And half of the packet that you signed when you signed up for your tables, half of that packet was because of me. From destroying their tables and cutting their floors and all kinds of shit with the Strider knives early in the day. Half of that stuff that you guys have, that packet used to be 1 page of paper.